Your body isn't broken. That's the theory a growing number of doctors are quietly starting to believe, and it might explain why you or someone you love has been in pain for years with no real answer. Here's the strange part. Doctors scanned thousands of people who had zero back pain, no aches, no stiffness, nothing. And they found something that shouldn't have been possible: bulging discs, degeneration, arthritis, real visible damage in people who felt completely fine. Nearly a third of pain-free 20-year-olds already had a bulging disc. By 50, more than half. By 80, almost everyone. These were people who weren't hurting at all. So the thing we've always been told causes pain apparently doesn't. There's a version of this story that's even stranger. Surgeons operated on patients with shoulder and knee problems. Half got the real surgery. Half were put under, cut open, and sewn back up, with nothing actually fixed, no repair, no correction. Just the experience of surgery, minus the surgery. 2 years later, both groups reported the same amount of relief. The procedure designed to fix the real structural problem did nothing more than doing nothing at all, which means the thing causing the pain was never just sitting in the joint. It was somewhere else the whole time. For decades, one doctor in New York became obsessed with this exact contradiction. He treated thousands of patients with chronic back, neck, and shoulder pain, and he kept running into the same puzzle. The worse someone's scan looked, the less likely they were to actually hurt. And the people in the most pain often had the cleanest, most unremarkable scans. So he stopped looking only at spines. He started looking at people, their habits, their personalities, their childhoods, their relationships, what they expected of themselves. And nearly every single one of them had something in common. They were the responsible ones, the high achievers, the ones who never wanted to disappoint anybody, people pleasers, perfectionists, the kind of person who says yes when every part of them is screaming no, and then quietly, silently resents it. Not once, over and over for years, sometimes decades. He had a name for what was quietly building underneath all of that niceness. He called it a rage bank. Think about it like an actual account, one you've been making deposits into since you were a kid. Every time you swallow your anger to keep the peace, deposit. Every time you say I'm fine when you're absolutely not, deposit. Every time you carry more than your share because asking for help feels like weakness or like letting someone down, deposit. Every time your child wakes you up at 3 a.m. and some primitive, exhausted part of you is furious, even though you love them more than anything, deposit. Every time you think, I should be further along, I should be doing more, I should be better, deposit, deposit, deposit. And here's the part almost nobody tells you. Your body remembers every single one of those deposits, even when your conscious mind doesn't. Because somewhere back in childhood, most of us learned a dangerous lesson, that anger wasn't safe, that showing it might cost us love or approval or connection. A kid figures this out fast. If being upset makes mom pull away, or if being difficult makes dad disappointed, the solution is simple. Stop being upset. Stop being difficult. Become easy. Become good. Become the person who never causes a problem. And it works. It gets you love. It gets you approval. It keeps the peace. But the anger doesn't actually disappear just because you stop showing it. It goes somewhere. It waits. And by adulthood, the mind has a real problem on its hands. A reservoir of buried anger it has decided is too dangerous to let surface, sitting right next to a version of you that believes good people aren't supposed to feel this way. So the mind needs something powerful enough to keep your attention away from that reservoir, something that demands to be dealt with immediately, every single day, no exceptions. Pain does exactly that job, and it does it brilliantly. Your back seizes up, and suddenly you're not thinking about the resentment you've been sitting on for 10 years. You're thinking about your back. Your stomach won't settle, and now you're Googling symptoms and cutting out foods instead of asking yourself what's actually eating at you. Some strange sensation shows up in your hands or your legs, and now you're spiraling through medical searches at midnight. The body becomes the perfect decoy, a problem you can point to, a problem that isn't your fault, a problem that has absolutely nothing to do, as far as you can tell, with years of unspoken anger sitting quietly underneath it. And it gets even more convincing when there's something real to blame it on. An old injury, a minor infection, a long walk that seemed to trigger it. Now you've got a tidy explanation your conscious mind can fully believe, which makes it even harder to notice what's actually running the show underneath. I want to be clear about something, because this is where people get defensive fast. This doesn't mean the pain is fake, it's real. The stiffness is real. The fatigue is real. The gut issues are real. What it means is that the source might not be where you've been looking this whole time. So what do you actually do with that? The method this doctor developed was almost insultingly simple. Once you strip away the science, step one, you have to actually believe it, not halfway. Because if some part of you still thinks, yeah, but what about my scan, the distraction keeps working and your attention stays locked on the body instead of the emotion underneath it. Step two, when the pain shows up, you stop asking, what's wrong with my body, and you start asking a completely different question. What am I actually angry about right now? What have I been swallowing? What am I so tired of pretending is fine? Who have I been resenting quietly while smiling on the outside? That single shift from fixing the body to facing the emotion was enough to change everything for thousands of his patients. Not because the anger magically vanished the second they named it, but because hiding from it was the entire reason it needed a body to hide inside in the first place. Once you're willing to look directly at it, it doesn't need to shout at you through your spine anymore. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, that's not me. I'm not an angry person. I love my life, my family, my work. And here's the thing, both of those can be true at once. You can adore your kids and still have some exhausted, primitive part of you that wants everyone to just leave you alone for 1 hour. You can love your job and still feel crushed under everything it demands of you. You can love the people closest to you and still be furious about something that happened years ago that you never let yourself feel. The real question isn't whether you're an angry person. It's whether you recognize the profile. Do you struggle to say no? Do you feel responsible for everyone else's happiness? Do you hold yourself to standards nobody else could meet? Do you have a symptom that nobody's been able to explain, no matter how many doctors you've seen? If any of that sounds familiar, it might be worth sitting down for 10 quiet minutes and doing something simple. Not analyzing your body, just asking yourself honestly, what's actually in my rage bank? What have I been carrying that I never let myself put down? Because maybe healing was never really about fixing what's broken. Maybe it's about finally telling the part of you that's been protecting you all these years, the part that built this whole elaborate system just to keep you safe. It's okay. You can stop now. I see it. I feel it. You don't have to hide it inside my body anymore. If this made you look at your own pain a little differently, follow Stories and Quotes B for more.